Welcome to the world of Baten Kaitos Origins. Baten Kaitos Origins, also known as Baten Kaitos 2, First Wings, and the Heirs of Gods, was developed by Namco, Monolith Soft, and Tricrescendo. Baten Kaitos Origins was published by Nintendo and was released in North America in the fall of 2006 and was a Nintendo GameCube exclusive title. So if you want to play this, gotta get yourself a Nintendo Wii or get on your Nintendo GameCube. This is a role-playing game that has a card-based, turn-based battle style, but puts a unique twist on it. This is the second title of the Baten Kaitos series. Baten Kaitos Origins is a prequel to the game Baten Kaitos, which is also on the Nintendo GameCube and was released in 2004. I also encourage people to check out Baten Kaitos since it is the first title, but it's definitely not necessary to understand the plot for Baten Kaitos Origins. Anything you might find playing this game first to enhance your experience with the first game, or on the other hand, playing the first game may allow you to fall more in love with the world that Baten Kaitos brings to life. Now I can't give too much of Baten Kaitos Origins plot away, because there's so many plot twists, so many good and deep parts of the plot, that I can't give them all away, so I can give you a basic description. So the idea with Baten Kaitos Origins, it's really a tale about the difference and the battle between magic and technology. It seems like a juxtaposition between the two. Now, with that in mind, I want to talk about something that actually is really unique about this game. It is the Magnus. Now, the main items in this game are things called Magnus. I bet you're asking yourself, what are Magnus? Now, Magnus are actually, they look like cards, but they can capture the essence of objects. So, there are two main types. There are Quest Magnus and there are Battle Magnus. Quest Magnus can come in many forms. There are the type that you can use for something called Sedna Magnus, which you can actually use to rebuild a town. There are Quest Magnus that are called Blank Magnus, which are actually my favorite item in the game. Now, Blank Magnus are used all the time in this game. You use them to collect different items, do some trading, or they're used for main questing. So for example, if I have to put out a fire, I'll capture some water in a Blank Magnus, then I can just simply use that on the fire. This kind of paradigm involving this game is actually really interesting. It works very, very well. Now, involving Battle Magnus on the other hand, Battle Magnus are used during battles. They come in different varieties, they have different numbers on them, and these numbers can correspond to different combinations for different attacks. So when you're in battle, these Battle Magnus can be used to equip items, they can be used to use different combinations of attack cards, or they can be used as specialized cards that give really massive attacks that give big damage. Now, with that in mind, there's one last thing I want to mention before we actually get to the battle scheme. It is the leveling up system of this game. This game uses two different types of leveling up. There are deck class leveling up, and there are just leveling up. Now, class level ups involve the fact that you have to use different techniques, try to get long combinations in your battles, and the fact that if you use a lot of specialized cards and get MP burst, which I'll talk about a little bit later, you can get yourself a good amount of TP, which will give you points so you can get your class upgrades. And these class upgrades allow you to have more cards during battle. So in your hand, because you can think of it like a hand of cards, it'll allow you to use more cards and be able to discard more cards. So say if you have a bunch of useless cards, the more and higher level you are, the more you can discard, or the more you can use consecutively. The leveling up system is just like almost every other RPG. If you attack enemies, you'll get more level ups, and you'll get more experience, then they'll get you some more leveling up, increase your stats. In this game, there's less stats to be involved with, because there's just power, defense, and there's immunities to different elements. Now it's time for my personal favorite part of this game. It is the battles themselves. Since we've discussed Magnus, we can go right into what Battle Magnus are used for. Battle Magnus are used in battle. They can use varieties of different attacks. Usually they're marked with a circle, they're marked with numbers, and the numbers usually increment based on the number of order or succession that enemy may be attacked with. So, for example, if you have a card, say if I picked a 1, it leaves an opportunity to pick a 1 and a 2, or a 1 and a 3, or a 1 and a 2 and a 3 attack cards. Now once you get these 1 or 2 or 3, you can increase your MP levels. and that's indicated on the right hand side. Once you get enough MP, it'll increase your level from level 1 to level 2 all the way up to level 5. Once you have reached level 5, you can get something called an MP burst. This MP burst allows you to have an unlimited amount of MP attacks, and these attacks really are good, especially when you're dealing with specialized cards that you have in your deck. These specialized cards are usually elemental and they're unique to each character. You don't have to worry about cost at all when you're dealing with an MP burst. It's totally spastic on the screen, and you'll feel like you're just gonna die if you don't get the right combination that you want. The idea is, if you get them in succession order, so if you get them successively increasing in numbers, and then you use a special attack on one of those cards, what it allows you to do is something we'll call an X combo. Now these X combos allow you to take one attack, so say for example if Sagi finished a turn, it leaves an opportunity for Milliard or Gilo to move into using a secondary attack, following up like a big chain of different attacks. So this is the best strategy for big boss fights or huge enemies in the game. So you can get yourself a massive amount of attacks in without having to worry anything about running out of turns, because this is a turn-based real-time battle engine. So once you pick a Magnus, that time may run out, and you can give an opportunity for your enemy to straight out attack you, and he may freeze you, he may light you on fire, or he may even knock you over. But they can be pretty strong sometimes, so keep your eye out. Unlike many RPGs, Baten Kaitos Origins makes use of these battle magnets to work as your weaponry, as your armor, or as healing or revival items. You can do this on the fly if it's in your deck, or likewise if you want to put in, say, different armor so you can increase your defense, so if an enemy is attacking you, you can do that. One thing I do find as a problem with this engine is the fact that it takes a while before you get actually interesting battles. So, as the great William Shakespeare once said, better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late. Because it does usually take about 3 hours before the battles get really intense. It will take a while before you get to the actual fun of the battles. Now, one thing I must mention about this game is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is really, really, really awesome. It was composed by Motoi Sakuraba, and it is one of his best works. He's well known for his work with the Tales series, especially Tales of Symphonia. Now, the music itself gives such an awesome atmosphere, especially if you go from the cold and dark environments of the Alfard Empire, or even the natural environments of, say, the ancient times, which can be quite beautiful. By no means is this a perfect game. It is still rather exceptional, but the thing about it is there are a couple things I want to comment on. First, there is one major thing I really do not like, and it is more of a warning than just a dislike. There are places in this game where there are save points, but at the same time there's no way of leveling yourself up, preparing for a battle. It's just going to be one big boss battle that's just sitting there, but you can't do anything about it. So you usually just gotta take it, and hopefully you can beat it. Otherwise you just gotta start over if you didn't back up your file somewhere. That's something I really, really don't like. And one thing I would love to see in, say, another game, say if they ever made a Baten Kaitos sequel to this, is I would definitely love to see the high-paced action that we see in Baten Kaitos Origins, except have it from the very beginning. So have the nice, cool, intense battles you see later on in the game, but start that off like that, and increase the elements of the real-time engine part. Because the real-time is really awesome, and the visuals are really good. So because they bring out a lot of colors, a lot of dynamic approaches, but at the same time, I love how it gets when you get everything going and the ball rolling. On that note, I would highly recommend this game, and if you love games that take a very long time to beat, this one can take you roughly between 40 to 70 hours to beat if you do all the side quests. On that note, thank you for watching and have yourself a beautiful day.